Hello and welcome to the Invictus Racing League F1 Equal Performance Racing, Equal Performance. I am normally the commentator for the Performance League 2, and I almost made a flub in the first 20 seconds that I'm commentating. I'm Tim Bodie. I am filling in for Mr. P, who is actually out there racing today. He is filling in for another driver, so I have to fill in for him in the commentary booth. So hello, nice to meet you. And now let's watch him qualifying. As you can see on your screen that a few cars are now making their way out onto the track. We have Rossi right there in the Force India. Now, again, this is equal performance. So all of these cars, there's no performance gap. They all more or less will drive the same, save for any setups and driving styles that drivers have. Now, you also may be wondering, why are you watching this on the Performance Racing League 2 Twitch channel? Well, we felt that it would be easier to stream on this channel rather than having to switch everything over for the equal performance and then switch it back for when I do the commentary on Tuesday nights. So I apologize in advance for any inconvenience this may cause, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoy your qualifying, and in about 20 minutes, I hope you sit back and enjoy our race. Now, as you can see in the top left of your screen, no driver has yet completed a lap. They're all just right now on their out lap. They just came out of the pits, but 15 minutes remaining. We have plenty of time for qualifying. I'm also going to take this time to give out a friendly reminder and a congratulations to Scopefielder, who has already clinched the Drivers' Championship in this league, and Renault, who has clinched the Constructors' Championship. Congratulations to them. Good driving all season. I hate that I've missed it, but I'm very excited to see what you're bringing to the table tonight. Along with the other 8 drivers out there, very excited to see what's going on tonight. Very excited to see the different driving styles and different pit strategies, and really just a few fresh new faces. I apologize for the temporary loss of vision. Minor technical difficulties. And our championship winner, Scopefielder, has posted our first lap of the session with a 119.797. And just behind him is Mr. Sky with a 120.2 and Meg Lugpie with a 120.513. 4 qualifiers now on the board, as Archie has set the second fastest time with a 120.2, and Ton has set the third fastest time with a 120.269. We have 3 laps, all within about 100th of a second of each other, more or less. So we're definitely going to see some very close action today, I'm sure, and it's going to be very exciting, no doubt. Rossi went just a little bit wide out of that corner, but did not get in the grass, did not get in the wall, and that is what is important. May have even helped the speed just a little bit, but it was a little bit longer way to go around the track, so I'm not sure if it's going to help the distance. But let's see how he fares on this first lap. He does not, as he is pulling into the pits. Apparently his car is just not right for him quite yet. Scopefielder's also going into the pits. Now we're going to ride along with the Red Bull of Archie. and see if he can improve on his current lap time. He will not go into the pits. He's going to stay out there, and he has now set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:19.579. And I'm going to tell you right now, Archie, he seems to really run well at this track. Last night, he was in the race, and he actually got the pole for the race. Unfortunately, there were some circumstances that led to him spitting out and having to retire. I unfortunately did not see what happened, but before then he was in the lead and he was absolutely walking away. So look for Archie to have a good day today. Now we're going to take a look at our normal commentator, Mr. P. He is in the Force India machine. He has not yet set a lap time. But hello, Mr. P, and how is the view from the car? Now, imagine if we had him commentating while he was racing. That would be very interesting. In fact, I would love to see that. I would love to see a commentator commentate and race at the same time. Probably impossible. But, you know, sometimes you could sit back and dream and just imagine, what if? What if this happened? Would it be funny? Would it work? Would it be good? Truthfully, I don't think it would work, and I don't think it would be hardly professional or good in quality by any means, but it would be funny. I'm not saying that Mr. P couldn't do it individually. I'm just saying, in general, I don't feel like that would work. But again, it might be humorous. Right now, we only have two drivers that have yet to set a lap. That is Mr. P and Rossi, both in Force India machines. Rossi is right now taking his outlap. Mr. P is looking like he is on his way to set his first timed lap. On top of the board, nothing has changed yet, as Archie is still up there with a 1:19.579, trailed by Scopefielder, our championship winner, with a 1:19.797. Pretty good line out of that corner. Will it be enough? Mr. P has set our fourth fastest time so far with that lap with a 1:20.243. We now have only one driver that has yet to complete a qualifying lap, and that is Rossi, 21, also in a pink Force India machine. He is coming around right now to start his first timed lap, unless he decides to pit yet again. We're going to ride on board with him and see what's going on. Looks like Rossi had just a little bit of trouble in the S's back there. A few corners before that, I thought he was going into gravel, but he did very nice to stay on the course. But through the S's, he had just a little bit of trouble, but it looks like he is going to, in fact, set a timed lap. He is currently the 9th fastest with a 1:21.0. No doubt, definitely going to stay out there to try to improve on that. And if you missed it, while we were riding on board with Rossi, Scopefielder has set our fastest lap of the session so far with a 1:19.511. Not too much faster than Archie's 1:19.579. As I said, it's going to be very close tonight, and I'm extremely excited to see what happens, not just on the first lap in turn 1, but the last lap in the final corner. I want to see how close this race is going to be, and I really hope that we're going to have some wheel-to-wheel action for all 27 laps. Looked like Rossi got through a little bit better that time, but he's still hitting that curb right there, and I think that's really slowing his time down. It's not so bad to kind of get on the rumble strip a little bit, but that little, it almost looks like a speed bump right there, right on the inside of the curb. He just keeps hitting that, and I think it's really killing his time. But we're going to see what he does this time. He did improve on his time, but not enough. He's still 1:20.510. Still in 9th place with just over 6 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Scopefielder, of course, still up top with Archie and Meglugpie rounding out the top 3 right now. We currently only have about 4 cars or so out on the track. Right here you see the Red Bull of Nikki. Currently our 7th fastest qualifier. A little bit of trouble through that corner. Don't think this one's going to be a fast lap. He's probably going to have to wait till next time around. Looks like one of the Force Indias got off the track a little bit there, and it even caused Nikki to go into the grass just a little bit, or the gravel, mind you. Probably messed up his racing line just a little bit, but he didn't hit the wall. He didn't get away too worse for wear. Now, I was talking about Archie earlier today, and I want to ride on board with him and see what his secret is to a fast lap. It actually looked like he got out of the throttle there for a minute. I'm not sure if this one's going to be a fast lap, but he has, in fact, set our fastest lap. It will not be a fast lap. He's going into the runoff area right now. But he did, in fact, that time around, set the fastest lap of the session so far with a 1:19.380. And I'm sure Archie is really, really wanting to make good on his unfortunate situation from yesterday. As I said, he was leading the race and he spun. It ended in a retirement for him, and it was so heartbreaking. Maybe today he can make good on that and show what he could have done. But in order to do that, he is going to have to deal with Scopefielder and Meglugpie. Scopefielder, of course, is our championship winner of this series. And in the Performance League 2, Meglugpie, as of last night, clinched the Drivers' Championship in that series. So, just behind Archie, we have 2 champions in their respective series chasing him. And with over 3 minutes remaining in this qualifying session, they definitely have plenty of time to set a fast time and get the pole. But no doubt it looks like that Archie, Scopefielder, Meglugpie, and Ton, they're all going to be real close to each other and starting up on the front row. Or the front few rows, should I say. Scopefielder in that Renault went just a little bit wide. Not sure if that's going to hurt him or help him, but don't think it matters. It must have helped him because he has now set our fastest time with a 1:19.144. A blistering lap compared to the 5s and the 7s that we were seeing earlier in the session. Mr. P, our normal commentator, in that Force India machine, he has set the 4th fastest time of this session. He's got a 1:19.778. Looks like Rossi has been disqualified from this session. Very unfortunate for him. He must have been the Force India that we saw go off the track. So he will undoubtedly start in the 9th position. He'll have 27 laps to make good on that if he can. Over 2 minutes remaining, and Scopefielder is still up in front with XD, Archie, and Meglugpie in 2nd and 3rd. We're riding on board right now with our currently 4th fastest qualifier, Mr. P. We're going to ride with him until he finishes this lap, see if he's got anything for him. However, come to think of it, I don't believe he will, because he actually had to go into the runoff area that last time around. Yeah, he's very under power right here. I'm almost wondering if maybe he's trying to save his tires a little bit and go for one more lap, or if he's maybe going to come into the pits and try to go for one more lap. That is, in fact, what he's going to do. He's going to come into the pits, and he may come out here very shortly to try to pull a Hail Mary and go for one last lap. Riding with Meg Luckpie in that Toro Rosso Red Bull. Trying to improve on his time. Though he definitely has no time that he should feel ashamed about. He is currently our third, now second fastest qualifier with a 1:19.311. XD Archie, who had a 1:19.380 as the fastest lap, has now been pushed down to third place. Scope Filter, who's in the pits, has a 1:19.144, completely in a league of his own, not too far away from the threes, but a 1 compared to a 3, if you run those consistently, you're just going to pull away from the field. Riding on board with Archie to see if maybe he can improve on his lap time. As the clock ticks down, this will be everyone's final lap. It looks as though Archie will be able to get just one more crack at this lap, but for Scope Filter, Mr. P, and Mr. Sky, they're done for the qualifying session. They will line up where they line up. Archie's going to go and make one last go of it. This is going to be his last lap. We're going to ride on board with this to see if he can do anything to try to improve his starting position, because he is definitely somebody that I have my eye on tonight. Unable to complete his lap, Archie will start in third. Meg Luckpie will start in second. Scope Filter has claimed the pole for this session. Very shortly, we will begin our race, as now I'll read you the rest of the board, as you have Ton in fourth and our normal commentator, Mr. P, lining up in fifth place, Mr. Sky in sixth, Doran in seventh, 8th is Nikki, and 9th is Rossi after he was disqualified from that session. Momentarily, we will be starting our race, our equal performance Italian Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League. Until then, enjoy the beautiful sights of the F1 garage as you can look down that as the cars line up and we prepare to begin our formation lap. We are just moments away from a formation lap and just moments away from green flag racing. See, this is the best part of racing right here. We just get to play the waiting game. We get to hurry up and wait. But sometimes that truthfully is the name of the game. Is patience. I'm not saying anything because I'm actually enjoying the ambient sounds of just of the garage. You know, the tools clanking and working together. It's just something that I've always enjoyed the sound of. Believe it or not. But now that sound is gone, and we are starting our formation lap. Gonna go down the field just to refresh your memory. Of course, our championship winner, Scope Builder, and also Ease and Reno, they have clinched the Constructors Championship. But Scope Builder is our pole sitter, with Meglugpie in the Toro Rosso Red Bull in second, Archie in third in that Red Bull, and another Toro Rosso right behind him with Ton. The Force India machine of Mr. P is going to line up in the 5th position, with Mr. Sky in 6th, Doran in 7th, Nikki in 8th, and another Force India of Rossi is going to line up in the 9th position. And for some reason, he actually had to go into the runoff area, but now he has just been disqualified from this session already. So Rossi will not even start this race, so now we're only going to have 8 drivers. The drivers come around the final few corners, still swerving, trying to keep heat in those tires. The last thing you want to do is haul off into turn 1 at as full speed as you can get, and all of a sudden be on cold tires and lose it. Now, you saw in the background, it looked like a Red Bull. That might have been Archie, who actually got a little loose and actually went over into the grass. I don't think he hit the wall. I don't think he has any damage, but that was a scary moment there, at least briefly, for Archie. As we all line up, we are now moments away, not even moments, but seconds away from this race. Saw the drivers line up, and they are ready to go. They are trigger happy on that throttle. They are watching the lights. They are ready for them to turn green, and the lights are now green. And away we go. Green flag racing. Green flag is in the air, and the start is a big one. Scope Builder currently out in the lead. Archie right on his bumper. Meglugpie, of course, right there on the inside, but Scope Builder has cleared everybody. There may have been some minor contact with that Toro Rosso of Meglugpie, but Scope Builder got away none the worse for wear, as Archie is dropped all the way back to 4th, and Mr. Sky, who came from, I believe, the 5th or 6th position, is now all the way up into 3rd. Meglugpie making a move on Scope Builder, could not make it stick. And now Meglugpie is really in a battle as he is 3 wide going into this next corner. I don't believe that they're going to be able to make it stick, but they do. No one wrecks. No one goes off the track. That was absolutely amazing. Amazing racing already, and we're not even finished with the first lap. Now, while this is going on, this gives Scope Builder a chance to pull away from the field. Oh, and now it looks like Mr. Sky, there was contact, perhaps. I did not have a good view of it. That was not a good angle we were looking at, but it looked like maybe there was some contact or something, and Mr. Sky just went off the track. Unfortunate for him. He had a good run, at least for the time being, he was up to third place. Our champ... Excuse me. Our championship leader and winner, Scopefielder, has set the fastest time. As you see, Megluckpie in second, Archie in that Red Bull battling with another Toro Rosso. There was a little bit of contact back there, but I think they all got away fairly clean. Mr. Sky has unfortunately had to retire the car after only the first lap. He was in third, and now it looks like someone was forced wide. That was the not a Toro Rosso, that was the Red Bull, I believe, of Nicky. Forced all the way wide and into the grass. We're going to ride on board with him just to get a look at what's going on in the pack up there. This is definitely close racing, even if it's for the rest of the field, because Scopefielder is now almost 3 seconds ahead of second place. We're going to ride on board with Ton, as it looks like he is currently getting ever so close to that Force India machine of Rossi up there. And of course, Rossi is getting really close to his teammate of Mr. P. And now the Force Indias are side by side, but Mr. P lets Rossi go, and he's going to try to do a crossover, but will not make it stick this time. But we're only on lap 3, lap 4 now. Lap 3, excuse me. No reason to push it right yet. However, that's exactly what they're doing. As they go into turn 1, the Force Indias are going to be wheel-to-wheel once more. And who will get ahead this time around? It was, in fact, Mr. P who came out with the 4th position in that battle. Looks like all the battles have more or less subsided, at least at the moment. We have some battles going on in the back of the pack, but everyone more or less is just settled into their racing line now, and they're running single file, at least for now. So perhaps the action is over, at least for a little bit, and maybe we can breathe. Of course, you see that Red Bull of Nicky. He's trying to maybe make a move on that Sauber, but he's not going to make it that time. He's going to have to gain about 0.4 of a second before he can get right up to him. But it looks like the Sauber of Doran, he's going to make a move on the Toro Rosso of Ton. And he, in fact, almost makes it. And he does. He clears him coming out of this corner. Ton's going to try to do a crossover move. Will it work? We're going to ride on board with him to get a good look at what he's looking at. He is right on the bumper of that Sauber. He has the DRS, and he's trying to get the slipstream. The Sauber is protecting the inside. Who will come out ahead? The Toro Rosso comes out ahead of the Sauber. Ton in the Toro Rosso, now in the 6th position. And up ahead, you can see the Force India machines are still going wheel-to-wheel, head-to-head, bumper-to-bumper, whatever you want to call it, however you want to describe it. They are absolutely fighting. You wouldn't think they're teammates. You wouldn't think that they even like each other, because now you see that they just forced each other a little bit wide. There was a little bit of contact. I don't think any of that was intentional. It was just really close, hard racing. But I'm sure that Rossi and maybe even Mr. P, both of them might be a little bit mad at each other. Currently, it is almost 3 seconds that separates Scopefielder from second place of Meg, and then about 2.5 seconds that separate Meg from Archie in third place. 5 seconds behind Archie is the battle you're currently watching with Mr. P, and now it looks like there was a battle just behind him between Rossi and Ton. Force India versus Toro Rosso going into turn 1. Who will come out ahead? This is going to be close, but it looks like it. No! The Force India will not come out ahead, at least not just yet. But that time, the Force India did, in fact, come out ahead as the Red Bull of Nicky stuck his nose in there, and that messed up the Toro Rosso's line, causing the Force India to get away fairly cleanly. And now that Red Bull is going to work on that pink number 95 of Rossi. riding on board with the Red Bull of Nicky. You can see just how close he is and just how much Rossi is in his sights as Rossi gets just a little bit in the dirt. Nicky has DRS. I don't know if it's going to help him. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. He's going to try to make the move. He's going to go really hard in this corner. Will he make that move? There is contact. There is contact between Rossi and the Red Bull. Nobody hits the wall. No one goes off the track, but that could have been very, very nasty. The Red Bull's going to try it again, and Rossi lets him by with relative ease this time. Maybe it is apologizing for the contact just a moment ago. The positions up front have not changed as you are watching this battle. It is still Scopefielder, Meglugpie, and Archie, as now the Force India is making another move on that Red Bull. The Red Bull locks it up, and then gets hit in the back by the Toro Rosso Red Bull. And this is only for about 5th or 6th position. I'd hate to see what these guys would do for the lead. Sounds like there was another lockup on that Red Bull. Nicky's trying really, really hard. He has a fast car. He just can't seem to get the track position. It is now Force India versus Red Bull. This is absolutely a cluster here. And now there is contact between both the Force Indias, and Mr. P has absolutely went off the track. He hit the wall. That was Rossi and Mr. P that got together, and Mr. P got the short end of the stick as he went off the track and hit the wall, and he is now in the 7th position and undoubtedly has damage to that wing. Will he pit this time? I almost feel like he has to. And yes, he will, along with the Sauber of Doran. And there was actually some contact going into the pits between Mr. P and that Sauber. We're going to go watch the battle between the Red Bull of Nicky and it appears as though Rossi went too hot into the first corner and had to use the runoff area, and as such got a 3-second time penalty from the stewards for corner cutting. All this mess has put Nicky in the Red Bull all the way up into the 4th position, just behind the other Red Bull of Archie, 9 seconds behind, mind you, but still behind nonetheless in 4th position. I'm sure he's hoping to try to turn it into a podium, but with 20 laps of racing left, it's a little early to be thinking about that just yet. Right now you need to survive. Right now you need to just race. Think about your pit strategy. Of course, think about how you're going to try to win the race, but do not celebrate your finishing position just yet, I suppose, is the point I'm trying to get across, because anything can happen, even on the last lap, even on the last straight. A little bit of lockup yet again from Nicky. He's locking up in almost every corner. Now, Mr. P, he has received a 10-second time penalty, and he has went ahead and retired from this race. Very unfortunate for him, as he had a decent run going today. But, of course, him and the other Force India of Rossi got together, and Mr. P got the short end of the stick as he spun off the track and hit the wall. Very unfortunate for Mr. P, as now we have 2 retirements from this race. Now, obviously, I'm going to take this time to refresh your memory. I thought that Rossi was not going to be able to start this race. Obviously, that is not the case, but in case anyone remembered my comments from the formation lap, I don't really have a clear answer as to why he was disqualified, quote-unquote, from the formation lap, but not the race. But nonetheless, he was allowed to race, and he's currently running in the 6th position. So perhaps there were some technical difficulties not on my side for once, as now Nicky has moved into third place as Archie has decided to pit. Safe for the drivers that have had contact, Archie, I believe, is the first driver to decide to pit, and it looks like Nicky got a little sideways coming off of that corner. He may need to pit here soon. He may need some new tires. Now, just as I was speaking of Rossi, it looks as now he has, in fact, suffered a DNF, and he will retire from this race as well. That will give Doran in the Sauber at least a 6th place finish as he moves into the 6th position right now. Really, that will give everybody a guaranteed at least a 6th place finish. There is a yellow flag in Sector 3. Now, while we were watching this battle, it appears as though Meg Lugpie is trying to make a battle of his own, as he is now within 1.2 seconds of Scopebuilder in the first position. And Meg Lugpie might just be able to get DRS in a lap or two and maybe, just maybe, come ever so close to make a move on Scopebuilder. Slowly but surely, it looks like Meg is eating away into that lead. For how long, I do not know. I believe Scopebuilder and Meg both still have to pit. So this may not come down to just pit strategy, it may come down to racing as well. Meg Lugpie now down to just 0.7 of a second behind Scopebuilder. I wonder if maybe Scopebuilder is going to pit this time, or even if Meg Lugpie is going to pit this time. Neither of the drivers pit this time. Meg Lugpie will undoubtedly get the DRS, but not sure if he is close enough to make a move. Not this time, but he is getting ever so closer, as now it looks like there's a battle. Not a battle, but Nicky has decided to go into the pits, and now Ton in the Toro Rosso has inherited third place, as I'm not sure what has happened to Archie. Either Ton still needs to pit, or Archie has spun at some point to drop back, but he is now in the 4th position. If Ton, in fact, still needs to pit, he will inherit the 3rd position yet again. On board with the Toro Rosso of Meg Lugpie, Scopebuilder and Meg Lugpie both will go into the pits. We're going to watch this pit stop from the onboard of Meg. Very, very interested to see what happens here. Scopebuilder is away and Meg Lugpie is now away. Maybe lost just a little bit of time, I'm not sure. But now Ton in the Toro Rosso has inherited the lead, at least for now, as Scopebuilder and Meg Lugpie are away. Archie in the Red Bull, 25 seconds behind. Not going to be an issue for the Renault and Toro Rosso. Now to check on Scopebuilder as we ride on board with him. You cannot see Ton anywhere up ahead of him. That Toro Rosso is gone. You can just see a little black dot on your screen at some points. That is Ton in the Toro Rosso. Scopefielder's chasing him. Now, I believe Ton still needs to pit, so I don't think Scopefielder really needs to push too hard. But I almost wonder if maybe Ton's trying to make his tires last as long as he possibly can to try and hold on to that track position. We're going to watch Ton right here. See what he does. Will he go into the pits this time? Or will he stay out? He will, in fact, go into the pits this time. Pit stops will now cycle through. Scopefielder will inherit the lead from Ton with Megluckpie in second and Archie eventually coming around to take third position. Now, where Ton will rejoin the field, I am not sure. Looks like he's going to rejoin in the 5th position as Doran in that Sauber is 31 seconds or so behind him and is not going to be a factor in this. Currently, it does not appear as though there are any battles whatsoever on this racing course. Of course, Megluckpie, within about a second of Scopefielder, he may get the DRS going into turn 1 this time around, and this could very well be the battle for the lead. It is lap 13 up 27. We are approximately halfway through with this race. Plenty of time to make a move if Megluckpie has a faster car, and it looks as though he does. He's trying to get the slipstream. He got the DRS, but not close enough this time. But if he can stay to the bumper of that Renault, then the next DRS zone, I'm sure he'll be able to make a move. And he made a move just a little bit earlier as Megluckpie going on the inside of Scopefielder and clears him with relative ease. Why our camera angles could not have been better for that moment, I have absolutely no idea, but I only have control over 2 camera angles, and it's a bit lacking if you ask me. That was, I don't know, kind of feel like the game dropped the ball there. But no harm, no foul, no use crying over spilled milk. Let's just watch this race. As Megluckpie, now that he has got out into clean air, now that he has gotten out in front, is absolutely pulling away. He's now put half a second on the Renault of Scopefielder, and that gap is just ever so slightly increasing. Scopefielder's only chance at this point is this DRS zone coming up. We're going to ride on board with him actually and see just what he does, as he is about 0.4 of a second behind Megluckpie. He's getting that slipstream. He has the DRS. He's going to try to make the move. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Megluckpie is going to protect the inside. And Scopefielder, at least for now, is back in first place. But will he clear Megluckpie? Yes, he does. He clears Megluckpie. But Megluckpie is going to fight back. And he is going to fight back extremely hard. It is now Toro Rosso versus Renault, lap 15 of 27. And they are wheel-to-wheel, side-by-side, neck and neck. However you want to describe it, it is happening right here on your screen, right in front of you. Scopefielder again has the advantage. May have been just a little bit of contact, but neither of them got away the worse for wear. 0.3 of a second now separate Scopefielder in first and Megluckpie in second place. We are only halfway through with this race, and already we're having a heated battle for the lead. Meg's trying to get the slipstream on Scopefielder, not going to work this time, but he will get the DRS and he may make a move this next corner. We're going to watch and watch closely with eagle eyes as they go into turn 1. Will there be any move? Yes, there will be. The Toro Rosso is making a move on the Renault, and I believe that he's going to make it with, yes, he clears him going into turn 1, and no contest whatsoever from Scopefielder that time around. I don't know if Scopefielder has anything left for Meg, but it looks as though he's getting pretty close. But again, this looks like the battle that we saw yesterday between the McLaren and I believe it was a Williams or a Mercedes. I honestly forgot the cars, but Meg Luckby, in fact, it was a three-way battle for the 3rd or 4th position. Meg Luckby was in the mix of that as well. So far, it seems the drivers have decided to fall in a line and run single file. Of course, I suspect that's going to change here in about 30 seconds as Scopefielder is going to get a DRS down this long straightaway going into turn 1. Almost undoubtedly going to try to make a move. We're going to see if he makes it stick. Definitely going to make a move. Trying to go on the inside did not work, so he's going to have to go on the outside, but he gets by Meg Luckby, at least for now, and he will clear him going into the corner, but Meg Luckby is right on that Renault's bumper. And as we're watching this battle, something has apparently happened to the Red Bull of Archie, and he has had to retire from this session, so 2 retirements in a row in 2 different series for Archie. My heart breaks for him, and I feel bad, and he had a decent run going today. But sometimes that is racing, as now Scopefielder's off the pace. Why is Scopefielder off the pace? Never mind, there is a virtual safety car. A virtual safety car has now been deployed. Drivers must maintain a certain speed. This may bunch the field back up, and we may get a 5-way battle for the lead, more or less, for our last 10 laps of racing. It just depends on when they wave the virtual safety car and how close the drivers behind get. Looks like the virtual safety car is no longer out, and Scopefielder is back to making a move on Meg Luckby and clears him, blisters by him. Meg Luckby, I don't think he was even expecting that. It's still only going to be a 2-way battle for the lead, as their closest competitor is a Red Bull of Nikki 10 seconds behind. So the virtual safety car did not really bunch the field up as I was hoping it would. But we still have a very great battle to watch on your screen right now. A DRS zone coming up right now. Will Meg Luckby maybe make this move on Scopefielder? He's going to try, but he does not make it stick. He just can't get quite close enough. Another DRS zone, of course, coming on the home stretch on that long straightaway going into turn 1. That is where most of our overtakes have happened today. And it's where these drivers always seem to like to jostle around for position, is within the first 3 or 4 corners. Scopefielder went just a little bit wide. I don't think he lost time. In fact, he may have even gained time, as Meg Luckby was 0.4 of a second. Now making a move on Scopefielder because of the DRS, and Meg Luckby clears Scopefielder this time around. I almost feel like the winner of this race is going to be whoever is leading out of turn 2 on the last lap. Or maybe even, just to play it safe, out of turn, I believe, 4. Out of this corner right here, whoever is leading on the last lap out of that corner is going to be the winner. I'm already predicting it. as there just seems to be no other opportunities to pass. And I feel like these two drivers understand that very, very well. And that's why they're being so aggressive with their passing, because they're trying to get ahead and they want to stay ahead. Of course they want to win, but they also know that the DRS kind of puts them at a disadvantage when they're ahead. Of course, if Meg Luckpie can pull away from Scope Builder, then he won't have to worry about it. He's just going to have to put over a second margin between them. And that I really don't believe is going to happen. In fact, he briefly increased it to about half a second, and that's really been the farthest that they have been apart for the past 5 or 10 laps. As you see Scope Builder making a move, I'm not sure if he's going to make it work because the Toro Rosso and Renault are side by side and wheel to wheel, and the Toro Rosso gets away with relative ease out of that corner. Scope Builder's going to have to wait at least one more lap. However, there was some contact, and I think it hurt Scope Builder more than it hurt Meg Luckpie, as the Renault is now 0.6 of a second behind the Toro Rosso. We're in the DRS zone. Scope Builder has the DRS, but I don't think he's close enough to be able to make a move. He's going to get just a little bit closer, but definitely not enough to make a move this time around. Maybe going into turn 1, he might be able to get to the bumper of Meg, but I almost think that Meg is too far ahead for Scope Builder to make a move this time. He's going to have to wait for another lap. We're going to ride on board with Scope Builder. I'm sure he has DRS. He is trying to get that slipstream as much as he possibly can from Meg, but 0.6 of a second still separate them. Now only 0.3 of a second. Scope Builder is not out of this yet. Do not count him out. Scope Builder with the DRS that time, but not able to make the move. He got just a little bit closer. Briefly 0.2 of a second, now 0.4 of a second behind Meg Luckpie. He's close enough for sure to get DRS on the front stretch, and I feel he's even close enough to be able to make a move successfully going into turn 1. But Meg Luckpie, as we have seen, is going to fight back, and he is going to fight back extremely hard. He wants this win. It's going to come down to who wants it more. And just as expected, Scope Builder makes a move and so far has cleared Meg Luckpie, but Meg Luckpie fights back, tries a crossover, and is now on the left side of the Renault, and they are now wheel to wheel, side by side, going into the third corner. They are absolutely neck and neck. Who has the preferred line? Meg Luckpie gets by with relative ease. Clears Scope Builder. No contact that time. Nice, clean racing that we're seeing from these two drivers right here. And even a little bit of contact, but can still be called clean racing. Because sometimes you simply just run out of real estate and you can't help but get into the other driver. It's not that you are trying to, it just happens. It happens in racing. I'm sure we're all very much aware of that. Interestingly enough, the Toro Rosso of Ton has set the fastest lap of the session. He is running in the 5th position right now. He is about 50 seconds approximately, give or take, behind the leaders that we're watching right now, as Scopefielder right on the bumper of that Toro Rosso and makes a move into turn 1. Not even into turn 1, really, still on the straightaway, and cleared Meg Lugpie. That number 19 of Scopefielder definitely wanting this win. He's already clinched the championship, and Renault has clinched the Drivers' Championship, but they just want to show that they can still win and that they are strong. Meg Lugpie wants to show that he can win, though. Jostling around for position. Scopefielder is going to have to settle for second place again for now. He has the DRS. He might be able to make the move on Meg Lugpie in this next corner. We're not sure. He's trying to get the slipstream. He will not be able to make it this time. Though perhaps Scopefielder yet again will make that move going into turn 1. He's definitely close enough. He's just going to have to stay close and use the DRS to his advantage, as both drivers have done each and every time. We are coming to cross the line. It is now lap 24 of 27, and Scopefielder making a move on Meg Lugpie once again, and he clears him going into turn 1. Now, if I were Meg Lugpie, what I would do right now, since we have about, 3-4 laps remaining, I would ride behind Scopefielder, stay extremely close, put pressure on him, try to intimidate him, but most importantly, watch his line. Watch what he's doing, watch where he is strong, watch where he is weak, and figure out where I am strong and figure out where I am weak. Of course, I feel as though they have been doing that this whole race. I may be just preaching to the choir here, but if I was Meg Lugpie, I would not try to make a move just yet, and I would try to observe Scopefielder, but that is not going to be the case, as Meg Lugpie absolutely made a move on that Renault and has pulled away already to 0.6 of a second. I may be foolish in saying this, but that might be for the win right there. It is now almost to 0.8 of a second, the gap. Scopefielder will get the DRS, but will he be close enough to even try to make a move? I don't know. We're going to find out. Not close enough to make a move that time. 8, almost 0.9 of a second, 0.7 of a second separate Meg Lugpie and Scopefielder now. As I said, that may very well have been for the lead. Scopefielder, he has a fast car. That is absolutely no doubt about that. But I just feel like he may be too far back to utilize the DRS effectively with only the 3 laps remaining that we have. In fact, I'm sure that Scopefielder used up his tires, and I believe he is, yes, he is on the Super Softs. So Meg Lugpie has a little bit more tire life in his tires. So that might have been what happened, is Scopefielder's tires just absolutely... He used them up. They didn't absolutely do anything. It's just hard racing. You use your tires up sometimes. And the Super Soft, you know, the red versus the yellow right there. Meg Lugpie, he just has more longevity on his tires. That was the word I was trying so desperately to say. It is now 26 of 27 laps, only 2 laps remaining. You are watching the race for the lead, as Scopefielder, our championship winner, is in second place. If you are just joining us moments ago, for about 5 or 10 laps, these drivers were just going head to head, jostling for position almost every single lap, first to second, second to first. And now, just about a lap ago, in this DRS zone that's coming up right now, Meg Lugpie was able to get out ahead of Scopefielder and it looks as though he's going to walk away with it so long as he makes one more mistake-free lap. The gap has now increased to 1.0 seconds. It's going to be close as to whether or not Scopebuilder will get the DRS at all. I know he definitely wants to, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It is now 1.1 seconds separating them, and Meg Luckpie is walking away. It is now the white flag lap. Last lap. If Scopebuilder has absolutely anything to show, anything he can do to try to get by Meg Luckpie, he's going to have to do it, and he is going to have to do it right now. But with 1 second separating them and only one more DRS zone coming up, I don't believe Scopebuilder is going to have enough time. I don't think he's got enough. As I said, I feel as though those red Super Softs, he just used them up. In the DRS zone, but Scopebuilder not close enough to take advantage. If Meg Luckpie just completes 3 or 4 more mistake-less corners, he will officially be our winner, save for any time penalties that he may have suffered throughout this race. We will find out momentarily, but it is undoubtedly going to be Meg Luckpie that at least crosses the line in first place. Again, no championship battle on the line here, as Scopebuilder has won the championship and Renault has won the Constructors' Championship, but it does not matter because, at least not in this race, because Meg Luckpie in the Toro Rosso crosses the line in first, but due to time penalties, it looks like Scopebuilder will be officially given the win. Nikki in the Red Bull will finish in third, Doran in the Sauber in fourth, as he is completing his lap right now, and Ton in that Toro Rosso Red Bull will finish in fifth. Of course, we have 5 DNFs of Archie, Rossi, Mr. P, and Mr. Sky. So now you see Doran in his Sauber. He's going to complete his final lap and officially cross the line in the 4th position. 10 seconds behind him is the Toro Rosso of Ton. He's completing his final lap, finishing in the 5th position. And that concludes the Invictus Racing League Equal Performance Italian Grand Prix. And I hope that it was as impressive and as entertaining for you as it was for me, as now you see the drivers celebrating their podium, celebrating their win. Very good racing indeed between Scopebuilder and Meg Luckpie, and really the whole rest of the field. There was a battle early on for 6th place, and then Meg Luckpie just ever so slowly was able to get a little bit faster throughout the course of the race and was actually able to pass Scopebuilder, but again, due to time penalties, Scopebuilder is officially awarded the win. He has also already clinched the championship, and Renault has already clinched the Drivers' Championship. Our official finishing order is Scopebuilder in first, Meg Luckpie in second, Nikki in third, fourth is Doran, Ton in fifth, and then Archie, Rossi, Mr. P, and Mr. Sky, who all suffered DNFs, will round out 5th through 9th. Until next time, this has been the Italian Grand Prix for the Equal Performance League on Invictus Racing. I am Tim Bodie. Have a good morning, good day, good night, wherever you are. And have a good... Excuse me, I'm getting choked up already. Have a good morning, good day, good night, wherever you are, and until next time.